Alright everybody, today we are going to disassemble this very gross and dirty Sega Dreamcast. Alright, so starting off, what we're going to do is we're just going to flip the console over, like always. You're going to notice here, there are 4 screw holes. And you can only see 3 of them at the moment because the modem's covering one, but yeah, let's get to it. So first off, let's remove this modem. Push the tab. Kind of slide it out, these can get stuck. Alright, modem is removed. Alright, and now we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the corners. So we're going to pop those out real quick. It's 1, 2, 3, and these are all the same length, so there's no concern about putting them in the proper spot. And let's make sure. Alright, filling out. There we go. Alright, flip it over, and just make sure to support both halves, the top and bottom, when we're flipping it over. And now, we're just going to gently lift the console apart. Alright, get your finger in between the top of the case and the bottom and lift off like this. And this one here is clearly really, I've been thinking actually about doing like maybe a restoration video or something like that. I'm not sure if anybody's going to be interested in it, but let me know if you would be for this console and just other consoles I have that are extremely dirty and kind of worn out. Alright, and now that we have this, we see there's cobwebs. Lovely. Alright, yeah, it's pretty dirty, but not too bad on the inside. Alright, so we're going to start with, let's get rid of the power supply first. So, right here, there are 2 gray wires leading into this connector here. We are just going to push on the tab, pull up. Always be careful around these exposed components because they can store energy for a long time. Alright, now we have 2 number 2 Phillips screws here and here. They're both gold. Let's remove these. Oh, if I can, there we go. Right, there's 1 and 2. Let's see if we can get this one out. There we go. All right. So you're going to see here, right here, this is actually where the main board connects to the power supply from underneath it. It's kind of a strange, choice of how to do it, but I mean that's how they did it. So let's go ahead and we're going to lift from the where you actually plug the cord into the back just a little bit, not applying too much pressure, and this corner. And you don't want to bend these prongs that are underneath here. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. I'm just gently, there's a tab here as well, so we're going to pull on this tab. Now we're just going to pull it back and forth. There we go. We're trying to pull straight up, and we are done. You don't want to touch anything on the bottom here, these exposed pins. They could possibly shock you. Alright, so now here's a better look. We're trying to get close. There we go, those pins. Yeah, you just don't want to bend any of them. Alright, so next there is a piece of plastic that kind of insulates the top shield, or the main board's top shield from the bottom. We're going to pull that out. The bottom of the power supply, that is. Alright, we're going to kind of set this cord off to the side. Alright, so next, let's see here. Let's go ahead and pull this ribbon cable right here. So there is a little bit of a white tab. It's kind of a reinforcement for putting it in and pulling it out. On the back here, you can't really get a good grip on it. You're not going to be able to really see here. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here and gently pull side to side. These are fragile. There we go. That's out. And there's that tab I was talking about. All right. So now I'm going to take these 2 number 2 Phillips gold screws that are kind of holding the disc or the drive assembly in. There we go. All right. Now that everything's kind of free, we still have a couple things screwed in here, or plugged in, so be very careful. All right. This right here is a little switch to tell the console when the lid is closed or open. So we're going to want to pull that to us. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's pull it directly from the main board. So we're going to come down here. You can't really see. You can see where they come in here. And we're just going to gently pull up. That one came out very easy. All right, we've got two more that actually are the power for the GD-ROM, which is the drive assembly. One more time, and one more time. All right, so it's all three out. I'm going to go ahead and push on the top here because the drive assembly isn't really held in. These are rubber grommets that kind of are for vibration dampening. But yeah, we're going to set that to the side. So this console comes apart fairly easily. I think we should, there's actually some dust and more cobwebs in there. I think what we're going to do now is, let's disconnect the fan. So these are smaller Phillips. I think these are 00. Let's see here real quick. Just change it over. Yes, they are. So, change this. All right, let me give you a better look. Focus, there we go. We have two, one here, one here. And we're not just going to pull it directly out because it is screwed in to the, there we go, let's set those aside. These are slightly smaller screws. They're a little bit domed, so you should be able to identify those when reassembling it. But yes, the fan here is plugged in, if we can get to focus, there we go, to the side of the controller ports. So we're going to pull up on it. And again, we're going to try not to pull up the wires, but pull up the tabs. There we go. And this one's actually very clean. You can always pull this apart. Come on, focus. Well, if we can get to focus. But yes, you can pull this fan off of here and really clean this little duct. Alright, so let's flip this back around. The next thing we're going to pull off is the controller ports. So let's take the power switch off first, just to get that out of our way. Or at least get it side moved. I'm going to switch back to number 2 Phillips. Alright, and that is the power switch. Set that to the side. The power switch screws are the same as the rest, so pretty much the only thing that's been different here is the, we're coming into a couple different colors of screws, but they are the same. The ones for the case, the 4, were black, the rest are all gold, and the 2 numbered 1 are 00 Phillips that hold in the fan. They're the slightly domed gold ones. Alright, so we're going to remove the 4 screws that hold in the controller port here. I'll give you guys a better picture again. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so it's kind of a difficult angle for keeping it in frame. Bear with me. And the last one. There we go. Alright, the only thing holding the controller port in now is this ribbon cord. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect it from the main board itself, because what I don't like to do is, I don't like taking the shielding off the main board, because sometimes the stamped holes that the ribbon cord has to pass through, if you disconnect it from the controller port itself, they're kind of sharp and they can cut it really easily. So I'm just going to grab it, back and forth, it's out. Alright, there we go. Controller port's out, really common piece to break. You know, if it was repeated usage and things like that, but easy to swap out if that's the issue with the console. Alright, so this piece, the controller port covers are, it's still held in, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to show this to you. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total screws to pull this shielding off. Just double checking. There are a couple different revisions of this board. You'll notice some where there's another ribbon cord here, and I believe that one goes to the controller port as well. But this is a later revision. Alright, so we're going to start pulling these out. 1, 2. There we are. And I use a little magnet tray to kind of hold all these screws, just to keep things organized and make sure they can't really roll off onto the floor or anything. So yeah, we got rid of those two. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 black screws. We're going to pull these out now. It does help if your screwdriver or whatnot, if you're using it magnetized, to pull these out of these little areas. Mine is slightly, I need to remagnetize it, so a lot of these aren't just going to pop out. But they're not going to come out. Nope. Alright, 2 more. Alright. The shielding should be free. Let's just wiggle it around here. Try to make sure it's going to come up easily. Alright. I'm actually going to use another one of my drivers here. Just going to pry at the shield. There we go. Part of it. It sounds horrible, but it's not. It's just you're pulling. Let's get this off here. The thermal pads. You're pulling off the thermal pads, and they kind of have an adhesive effect to them. Well, they are adhesive. Here, I'm pulling these screws out that didn't come out all the way. I'll flip this over and show you what's going on. It's back into frame. All right, we're gonna flip it over. So this is the heat sink. It actually goes onto the top of the shield. I'll set that aside. You can see here on the main board, and now we can pull this controller cover out. We've got these, well, they're still in actually pretty good condition, these thermal pads here and here on the CPU and essentially the GPU. But yeah, if you want to pull this out, looks like we might have some water damage on this console actually. Kind of pulls out like this. Controller ports are in there, or not the controller ports, the video ports. There we go. And yeah, this is the main board. It's a 2000, so this may be an earlier revision, I'm not quite sure. Come over to the back, you can actually see some of this water damage on the side of the board here. And on the shielding on the bottom. The console worked fine the last time I used it. This is one I've had for quite a while. But yeah, and if you want to actually pull this bottom shielding out, it's just kind of tucked in here with a few tabs. There we go. Pull that one out. This little piece here, what's right here, it is a ground. These little pins touch the side of the modem, so it grounds it out. But yeah, there it is, completely disassembled. If you really want to wash it, which this one definitely needs, there's stuff falling out and dust going all over the place. Yeah, it's a great place to start. But yeah, I'm thinking about restoring this one. Let me know if anybody would like to see that video. Thank you very much for watching, and we're going to do this again pretty soon.